Black Ops 1, released in 2010 by Treyarch once again, is what may be considered the biggest boom in zombies' popularity, with the only other contender really being Black Ops 3. But that's another video. I feel Black Ops had this surge of popularity due to three factors. 1. The increased presence of YouTube content being made by channels such as Syndicate and other high-round runners. I mean, the YouTube presence for this game was absolutely massive, to the point where people who have never played COD Zombies were watching it, likely drawing them into the fray on the mode. 2. Black Ops 1 simply being an incredibly popular COD title on the multiplayer side. 3. The main map welcomed in novices to the mode, and for the players who sought a more difficult map, there was the Cult Classic 5, which unfortunately won't be discussed in today's video, as I'm saving it for Black Ops 4, as there aren't enough changes to warrant covering both. But with that being said, if there's demand for a changes for 5 video, I will do a standalone entry. Kino Toten. Get your popcorn and drinks ready because we're going to the movies. Kino is a lot of players' first experience with Call of Duty Zombies, and what an easy map to get your hands on first. Now here's where I'll get a little bit of heat, as I think the overall gameplay of this map isn't strong enough to keep me coming back to it out often, but with that being said, let's get into some changes. Make the other stage door / upper alley area useful. When playing Kino, there is one absolute fact that must be accepted. The left door when looking at the stage will never be opened, and with good reason. Just as we discussed with Noct, opening this door kills the winning strategy on the map. Not only that, but it gives access to a tight stairwell and another section of the alley that players almost never venture to because there's nothing but an awkwardly placed trap in a box location. So I think that we should rethink how this area connects to the building, or disconnect it altogether. If the alley wrapped around the back of the building and reconnected at the changing room section of the map, I think this would add a lot to the experience, as it would add more room to move and make the alley section a little bit more prominent than the afterthought it currently seems to be. Turret traps. Kino Toten is home to many traps of varied effectiveness. There's the classic electric trap, there's the high round tried and true fire pit trap, and then there's the turret traps. Boy, is one of these just not like the others. Definitely the black sheep when it comes to traps on this map. The automatic turret takes way too long to lock onto a zombie and hardly does any damage at all. Costs way more than other traps, and on top of all that, they felt the need to put it in here twice. This could either be fixed by improving the damage and targeting time to make it more like a sentry gun from COD multiplayer's past, or change this weapon altogether to make it something more effective and cooler, say a death machine. As a closing note on this, I'm confused why there are two instances of this trap and why they're 50 feet from each other. I'd change the turret in the speed cola room to something else altogether just to spice up gameplay overall. Make film reels matter. The film reels are a cool idea that add a little extra flavor to the experience of the map. You would have a chance to find one after teleporting back from Pack-a-Punch and being sent to a random room, where one can be found before being sent back to the main teleporter room. Then the next time you go to Pack-a-Punch, you can install the reel to see a montage of photos displayed on the screen hanging above the stage. While this is cool to see some eerie, maybe foreshadowing images, why don't we make it more of a gameplay element? What if after each film reel is played, it would add a small boost lasting the rest of the game? Now what these boosts could be are anyone's guess. Stuff such as maybe an additional hit or whatnot. Would this system be too strong? I don't really think so, but it would definitely be a strong addition, but I think it would help the map rather than hurt it. But let me know what you guys think. Ascension. A Soviet rocket test facility is a gripping set piece for the first additional map of the Black Ops 1 catalog, at least in my book, and many players rejoice this map, but sometimes I wonder if we're playing the same map at all. Like, there are cool things about this map, but I can't help but feel like I'm missing something, as a lot of the cool things for me are overshadowed by annoyances or letdowns. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Space monkeys. Instead of simple hellhounds coming to bite your ankles, this time around you are faced with monkeys crashing down in landing crafts, which may sound harmless, maybe even a little cute. Well, if you've played the map, you'll know why you want to call animal control faster than I call for a pizza on a night in. They are vicious, and in the worst possible way. They don't simply want you dead, no. They're less interested in killing you and more interested in killing your fun by stealing your perks. By failing to get to a machine in time, it will make you lose a perk. The worst outcome here is them stealing your quick revive. Because your quick revive count in solo is based off purchases, not downs, meaning you're basically forced into camping this machine and jug, as otherwise you're going to lose your 2 of your most valuable perks. Now if you manage to kill them before they can touch one of the machines, you are rewarded with a perk bottle drop. But this in solo is a hard ask, and for me is the reason I personally don't love the map. That's why I think, what if instead they tried to turn off the power by going for the switch so you'd have one single point to defend? And maybe by defending it without them laying a hand on it, you'd be rewarded with a fire sale or even a bonfire sale. The other option, maybe the monkeys could work like the witch from Buried and they try to steal your points instead, as I would rather have a couple points stolen over perks simply because I couldn't get there in time. With the fast travel only connecting you to the spawn room, it's not always easy to get around the map. Color fade until power activation. This is a problem that is extremely heightened by the visual impressiveness of the Chronicles remaster, but is still present in the original version. The fact that the color is so dulled out until power activates, A, doesn't make any sense in terms of the map, compared to if this was an Infinite Warfare Zombies map, where it's a movie and it's just the director messing with the settings, and B, simply isn't pleasant to look at, like, at all. Like, just look at the night and day difference here. Just altogether remove this. I don't think this adds anything to the map, but it does take away from the striking visuals of this facility. Wonder weapons. Now, in the original, it featured the Thunder Gun and the classic Ray Gun and gained the Mark II during the Chronicles remaster. However, where is this map's iconic wonder weapon, as we had just seen the Thunder Gun debut in the previous map? This feels like a missed opportunity to give a more unique weapon. Now, don't get me wrong, we all love the Thunder Gun. Nothing feels better than to watch their bodies go flying into the next COD title, but I would have loved to see what wonder weapon they could have come up with here. Now, when I was younger, I did feel that the Gersh devices were originally going to be some sort of black hole gun similar to the Apothecan Servant in Black Ops 3, but with the added ability to teleport by stepping through the holes as the Gersh devices work now. But maybe that was just me. Overall, I think it would help the map be more memorable with a wonder weapon to call its own, whatever it could have been. Call of the Dead is one of the most iconic maps of Black Ops 1 by far, between the chilling location, the phenomenal cast, and overall map design. I'll admit, I am a little biased here because of the inclusion of George A. Romero. As a massive fan of horror, this map will always hold a special place in my heart just for that reason alone. With a few changes, however, I feel like we can polish up certain aspects of the map. Also, as a last note, my footage for this section unfortunately is going to be of the remake Toten, as Black Ops 1 has forgotten that I own half of the DLCs, but with that being said, back to the video. Buff wonder weapons. Call of the Dead is one of the strongest maps of Black Ops 1 by far, but is home to the worst wonder weapons of the entire game, and largely the entire franchise. While the Scavenger is a really cool idea, it falls off way too early on. You could fix this by simply upping its damage or uncapping the damage altogether, and you'd be good to go. Now, the VR11 is nowhere near the same. It has bad ammo, doesn't kill, and has an overall terrible effect. All it serves as is a replacement to monkey bombs in its current form, which is not a good enough effect to take up a weapon slot. If we made it work similar to a BO3 turned alternate ammo type, this would make the weapon consistently good as rounds progress, and at the end of the day, this would achieve a similar design to the original iteration while making it actually worth taking it out of the box. Dynamic visibility. This drab Siberian wasteland should feel cold and isolated. However, at times it feels you can't take in the map around you, and more importantly, can't see the zombie that is climbing out of the ground 20 feet from you. If you could just make it to where outside the map wavers in visibility, or just tone it down slightly, this would keep the original characteristic alive while making gameplay a little bit better. Traps. Or the lack thereof. Unlike every map to come before it, barring Nocturne and Toten, this map does not feature any traps at all. You are probably painfully aware of this fact, as it is what keeps insanely high rounds from being achieved on this map. Where should they be? What should they look like? Let me know in the comments below. Personal thoughts would be something similar to the lighthouse trap featured in Toten, or an electric pool of water trap, but I would personally love to hear what you guys come up with. Shangri-La. Trapped in Paradise takes on a whole new meaning in this zombies experience. High in the Himalayas or somewhere on the surface of Mars depending on who you ask, Shangri-La is one of the most visually distinct maps ever made. It fully buys into the mystery and allure of an ancient city full of booby traps and danger. However, there are a couple things that I feel keep a lot of players from fully enjoying this map or even braving to try it. And so let's see if we can fix that. Pack-a-Punch. The Pack-a-Punch is a key element in surviving into the decently high rounds on any given map. And in Shangri-La, this is no different. But for whatever reason, Jimmy Zielinski thought that it would be a phenomenal idea to require all players to do an action at the same time. What could go wrong? Now for solo, this isn't a problem, as you simply find the one raised tile, step on it, run back to the Pack-a-Punch, pop your gun in the slot, and you're done. Nice and easy. But in co-op, all it takes is one teammate to either decide intentionally not to step on their tile, or not understanding how the map works to deny the entire team the ability to upgrade their weapons. A simple fix here would be to simply make it to where once a tile is stepped on, it will stay down. This gives each player the ability to fully activate Pack-a-Punch on their own, so they're not chained by their teammates. Monkeys. Monkeys somehow are making this list for the second time. They really must have just had a couple monkey models on hand that they really wanted to get into the game. But these monkeys are almost just as bad as their cosmonaut counterparts, where they would steal your perks, which infuriates me. These will steal your drops and begin to shuffle what type of drop it is. Now, if a monkey gets a hold of a max ammo drop, it gives you the chance by killing them perfectly to gain a perk bottle drop. But in a map that can get as hectic and close quarters as Shangri-La, timing it perfectly to get this kill isn't exactly the easiest task. And sometimes you just need the max ammo or whatever the drop in question is. To have to deal with these thieves is incredibly annoying. Simply removing this feature, making it less frequent, or add the ability to maybe bribe the monkeys to leave them alone would be a huge improvement. Say by adding some fruit to certain plants around the map that would respawn every so often, you could take it to a certain area of the map and this would prevent them for the following rounds from stealing your drops. Meaning in early rounds you could take advantage of cycling drops, and later you could keep bringing them fruit to keep your drops more secure, allowing for more clutch max ammo drops. More space to move in. A common complaint about this map is that there isn't a whole lot of room, and that is very true, I will admit. You'll be hard pressed to come up with more than a couple training spots on this map. Let's fix that by adding another area altogether, just to expand the square footage a little bit. My two thoughts for this are adding another area below the waterfall that would utilize the activation of the reservoir to travel down to it, and would connect back up to the rest of the map via a second minecart, and in doing so add a track switch to the cart itself. The slight variation here would be a track switch allowing a new large cavern to be explored and discovered following the activation. Moon. Moon is the final chapter in the book of Black Ops 1 Zombies, originally going to be a Paris map. We ended up here. This is a map that I feel is largely overrated by most players. Like, don't get me wrong, there are elements on this map that I do enjoy, but for me I feel like the idea of the map is cooler than it actually ends up being. While there are some things that do draw me into a game of Moon, there are several design flaws that overall hinder my play experience and make me hesitate to click on the map. Excavators. Why would you, as a development team, spend time and talent crafting a map just to make areas overall a pain to be in as the match progresses? Now, not just a few spots that are risky to up the danger in a few small areas. We're talking about making gameplay worse in large doses, which feels like Treyarch's response to training zombies in any one given area, and that they were trying to force you to move around the map or run to the spawn room with the hacker to stop the excavator progress. It is also essential for the Easter egg quest to wait for one of these to burrow through Tunnel 6, which can be incredibly annoying to wait for, so why don't we simply replace them? If we kept a somewhat similar system, what if the artificial gravity and oxygen generators cycled off every so many rounds for a round or two before restoring to working order? Because if I'm being honest, I hate having to wear the PED suit everywhere for a lot of reasons, mainly to our next point. Helmet audio. Realistically speaking, the way the game makes it sound with your helmet on is accurate. Kudos, Treyarch, you've nailed the realism in your Space Zombies experience. While I appreciate the attention to detail, this is just one level of accuracy that I do not need. This muffled underwater sound is such a detriment to the map. As the sound design is such an important part of my game experience, and the audio situation on Moon sounds like you're listening to your friend play another Zombies map through a wall, this really leaves me wishing I was playing just about any other map. Either remove this deafening, turn it down substantially, or at least add the ability to find improvements to the suit that would turn this down. On that note, that could be a cool idea in general, finding modular upgrades to the suit that solve problems like that. But I digress. Rethink core perks being on Earth. Let me state this now. I absolutely love the No Man's Land mechanic on this map. It is so simple yet so great. For skilled players to be able to pack their pistols on round 1 or simply rack up a ton of points to speed up opening the map. But there's one slight problem. If you spawn and say, Juggernog is featured by the teleporter, and you don't buy it, that means you have to teleport back twice just to get a mainstay perk. Or similarly, if you down after getting it, you may have to take multiple trips to get it back. So I say either remove both perks from this location, or make it only Jug spawning there, making speed spawn somewhere else on the map. Say in the area opposite the power switch and the pyramid. A speed coal machine could slide right in here no problem. This would overall help with gameplay, as having to teleport a bunch of times just to get perks back is a really unfortunate case. Bonus point. This point connects to the last one. I don't think it should require all players to teleport. Now, I'm aware that the reason this was a thing in the original iteration is simply because the game surely could not run players being in both areas of the map at once. But I still feel like it's worth noting that this is an incredibly annoying mechanic. But I still think it's worth noting, as it is incredibly annoying if one of your teammates downs in the spawn room and then it's impossible to teleport unless they bleed out. But let me know what you guys think. What changes would you make to these maps? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys would do. That's the end of the video for this week, and next week, be on the lookout for a Black Ops 2 edition. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit like, and if you don't want to miss out on the next video, be sure to hit subscribe. Hey, you want to see me before the next video? Come check me out on Twitch, where I stream COD Zombies and a bunch of other games at The Real Fighting Line 1. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.